Welcome everybody, I'm John Fairless, here from the Connection Café, and I'm glad you've come to join us again on another one of our newsletter articles or here on our YouTube channel. This is where we talk about things that we hope are being helpful as you're learning to apply the basic things that we learn when we do think about the connection between our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our spirit. We're fascinated by that at the Connection Café, and we're always working to learn more and to help more and to share more. Today, we're talking about breathing, something that's very familiar to almost all of us. The title of our session is Just Breathe, because 25 sextillion molecules can't be wrong. Now, we'll come back to that in a minute. I recently read the book, Breath, by James Nestor. You may ask, well, just how interesting can it be to learn about breathing? As it turns out, it's a pretty darn fascinating subject. Mr. Nestor has sold about 1 bajillion copies and racked up more awards than I have fingers to type this article. Among the trivia that's scattered throughout his book is the basic fact that the average person breathes 18 times per minute, which converts to around 25,000 breaths a day. Now, that should total out to roughly 700 billion breaths in your lifetime. Of course, the molecules of air and the other annoying particles that you probably don't want to think about that rush in and out during each breath number 25 sextillion. That's where I got that snappy subhead that I wrote. Now, that's the numeral 25 with 21 zeros trailing after it. Every single breath. Now, there's just no way I'm even going to attempt to total up the number of molecules we move through our systems every day, much less in a lifetime. But the numbers do go to emphasize the main point I want to make for today. Breathing is absolutely critical to our existence. Now, nobody needs me to convince you of that. If you ever have any doubt about it, just stop breathing for a minute. I mean, go ahead. I'm going to wait for 60 seconds. Just hold your breath and see how you feel. Okay, I'm not really going to wait for a whole minute. You already know how you feel when your breath flow stops. You tried that when you were a kid. You don't have to do it now, but you've got the idea. You would think that breathing is one thing we ought to be able to get right, being as we do it so many times every day, and we don't even think about it. But as it turns out, there are a whole slew of ways to mess up our breathing. I learned this week terms like hyperventilation, well, I knew that one, dyspnea, bradypnea, tachypnea, hyperapnea, apnea, I know that one. And then there's something known as Kussmaul breathing. Now, there is no need to worry about any of those terms, no tests, right? If you have one of those, you probably already know it, I would imagine. What we're after here, and one of the things we teach and practice in our Connection Café workshops, is the positive effects of good, solid breathing. Ryan Hurst, who is a coach and a writer on 24life.com, says that breathing and our respiratory system are intimately intertwined with our mental and our physical well-being. Our ability to control our breath gives us opportunities to change our energy levels, to hype us up or to calm us down, and to respond to other feelings that may seem out of our control. I couldn't have said that better myself, Ryan. which is why I quoted you. Thanks, buddy. So we're going to spend these next couple of sessions just practicing some simple breathing tips. Now, we do offer a complete audio teaching series on starting with the breath and moving through the basic phases of guided meditation. And that's to help with some of those feelings that seem to be out of our control. I've put a link to that series down below. Right now, though, just give this a shot. In whatever position you happen to be in, if you're sitting or if you're stretched out, or even if you're walking, listening to this today, just observe your normal breath for a bit. Don't think about changing your breathing, just breathe and take notice. Is your breathing shallow or is it deep? Are you breathing quickly or slowly? When you breathe, what parts of your body are moving more, or maybe at all? Does anything feel restricted in your breath process? Now, once you've thought about that, repeat this observation. But this time, go ahead and take a few deep breaths in and out. As you're breathing a little more deeply, has anything changed? Is there anything that moves more or less? Now that's enough. Just pause. Do you notice any change in how you feel? Whatever you learned, just doing a very simple observation exercise like this can tell you a lot about your habitual style of breathing and how it affects your physical and mental performance. Believe me, it does. And we're going to start unpacking some of that in our next sessions. Next time, I'm going to show you a controlled breathing exercise that you can use anytime you feel your anxiety level starting to go up. You know, like when you have to stand and give a speech, talk in front of a bunch of people, or you come in and you see a spider on your pillow just before you go to bed at night. You know, something like that. In the meantime, just breathe, my friends. I'm John Fairless, and I'll see you next time on the Connection Café.